Hey, what's up everyone? Alex Ward here with Eternal Guitars and Hot Rod Pickups. And watch out, because here comes Captain Obvious. Today we're here with this simply stunning set of Eternal Guitars status quo replica T-types, lovingly handcrafted by Dave Walsh at Eternal Guitars and Hot Rod Pickups. So, I mean, just take a look at them. Just have a little minute just to enjoy these. Obviously I can't get the headstocks in with this. Let's just see if we can do a little bit jiggery pokery there. Can you see those? So yeah, let's start off by talking about these guitars a wee bit. Now, a couple of disclaimers here. I'm not in status quo. I know I had you fooled for a little minute, it must be the hair, but I'm not in status quo, nor have I ever been. I do not have their amplifiers, I do not have their speaker cabinets, I do not have the speakers themselves, nor do I have their immense talent. So no matter what I do here, there is a limit as to how much I'm going to be able to sound like Francis Rossi and the late great Rick Parfitt. But this is more about the sets of pickups that are in both of these guitars. So I'll talk about the guitars a little bit first and then we'll dive into the pickups. So let's start off with the Rick Parfitt number, shall we? So let's just do a little bit of a cut. Boom, and we're back in the room. Okay, so here we have it, the Rick Parfitt white T-type, custom built by Dave Walsh at Eternal Guitars. So we have a very, very heavily aged guitar here. Now, the specs for all of these guitars are going to be down in the description box below. And of course, if you love these guitars or love the look of them, love the sound of them, you can absolutely pick them up at the Eternal Guitars website, which is also down here somewhere. Now, with Rick Parfitt's guitar, and indeed Francis Rossi's, these have been through innumerable iterations and have started off as one thing and ended up looking like another thing just because of the way they've been handled. So what Dave reckoned through his vast research about these guitars is that Rick's guitar probably started as a mid-60s veneer board kind of guitar with an ash body, painted dark blue, which was then painted white and then chipped away over the years, which is what you can see here. The ash coming through as well. Also a three-ply white pickguard, which was then painted black at some point, and then aged through time and use. So what Dave has done here is naturally age the pickguard so that the white comes back through again. At some point, the original ashtray bridge was cut down, as you can see here, and then replaced with a wraparound hardtail bridge, most likely to do with string breakage and things like that. Those guys really hit their guitars hard. And we also have the little Lego wheel on the volume knob and brass coverings for this pickup and brass control knobs here. That's actually quite tricky to find. They're not gold plated, they are brass. So yeah, so this is a really quirky guitar. The cover for the pickup selector has come off, which is very much in keeping with the battered aesthetic. We have a maple neck with a rosewood fingerboard, Goto inclusion hardware, which is pretty much standard on all Eternal guitars, CTS pots, and this is a CRL switch, and also a switchcraft jack on the underside there. So yeah, so that's a little bit about this guitar. So if we do another little cut and we'll go to the Francis Rossi number. Okay, and we're back in the room with the Francis Rossi green T-type here. So what we've got here is a guitar that has been modelled on a guitar that has been through so many iterations in its life. So it's a guitar that started life as a three-piece ash body with a two-piece maple neck, which means it does not have a skunk stripe, so that is the reason, because it's a two-piece maple neck. Much like the Parfitt model, this guitar has had the ashtray bridge sawn down, but this guitar has gone with the sort of tune-o-matic style bridge as opposed to Parfitt's wraparound tailpiece. We've got Kluson tuners, and that bridge is a Goto bridge, a switchcraft jack socket also. Now, like I say, this guitar is one that sort of went through numerous changes in its lifetime in terms of pickup layout. So at some point he went to a 3 pickup configuration using lace sensors and a GNL in the bridge. But for this guitar, like I say, Dave's gone for his kind of favourite era of it, and that is around the Live Aid sort of time. We also have this nifty little hole which you can see on the Live Aid video. Now, you know, disclaimer again, I'm no status quo expert. I mean, there's talk of it being somewhere to put your lead through. You know, you guys all know more about that than me, but what is true to this guitar is that it's there. So that is awesome. But like I said at the start of the video, this is more about the pickup set. So these guitars aesthetically are very, very specific for one thing. However, the pickups sound great and they're available as specific sets from the Hot Rod Pickups website. So if you're listening to this and you think, man, I really like the sound of those guitars, but I just can't be taking the look of those guitars into the band I'm in, then absolutely fine. You can get these pickups and put them into your T-type and they'll sound absolutely superb. One other cool thing about this Francis Rossi guitar, which I forgot to mention, is the finish of it. So it is obviously green at the front, heavily aged, but on the back you can see that it's been sanded off, and around the edges you can see that it is black. And that's because at some point this guitar was painted black, and then I believe Francis Rossi himself actually sort of tried, you know, got rid of the finish on the back and painted the front green, and then just maybe couldn't be bothered to do the top bits. It looks cool. I don't know if that's true, but what Dave's done here is replicated that as well. So it just goes to show the time and effort he's put into researching these guitars. I just want to mention as well, before we dive into the tones, that I'm using this Cornford MK52 head going into the Matrix NL212 2x12 Neo-like cabinet, mic'd up with an SM57, and any effects like maybe a tube screamer in the front or some delays in the loop and things like that, they'll be coming from the Fractal Audio AX8, which is just by my feet down here. So whilst we've got the Francis Rossi guitar here, let's talk about the pickup set that's in this one. So here we've got the hand-wound Hot Rod Country set for T-type guitars, and they give you a really bright, twangy tone. They can be pretty gnarly, but it is that sort of classic twangy T-type tone that you've got going on here. So let's have a listen to what those sound like. And as you can see, I'm back with the Rick Parfitt guitar now, and we're going to talk a little bit about these pickups, these hand-wound pickups. Now, when Rick was using his guitar over the years, it had numerous different pickups in it. At some point, there was a 60s bridge pickup, then there was a Seymour Duncan Quarter Pounder in there, and there's been at least one screw pole model in there. So what Dave's done is he's gone and hand wound a Hot Rod Turbo T in the bridge, which has been made with 1/4-inch poles, and we also have a telly tweed in the neck. So in the bridge position, you've got a really high output kind of pickup, and then in the neck position, you've got more of a classic T-type sort of pickup going on. So let's have a listen to how those sound. Now these guitars, and indeed these pickups, are designed to complement each other, so as such they're radically different sounding sets of pickups. You know, just because they're in the same band doesn't mean they've got the same pickups, right? So let's have a listen to how they sound back to back. So I'll play a riff or a lick on one pickup position on this guitar, and then we'll switch straight to the Francis Rossi guitar and do the same thing, and do that for all the pickup positions. So let's check that out. like I say, these pickups are designed to complement each other. So when you hear them back to back, like you just did there, you can hear that they're absolutely different. But when you put them together, a bit like we did in the intro, and I'll do it again in the outro, you can hear that the sound is just so sweet. It's like they're the perfect match for each other. Kind of a bit like Robert De Niro in Heat, who's got the sort of edgy kind of thing going on, but his head's screwed on all the time. I'd say that's the Francis Rossi set of pickups. And then you've got Al Pacino's character, who's just gnarly and off the rails. I'd say that's this Rick Parfitt character right here. So, I mean, they work really, really well together. Okay, so there you have it. This pair of status quo replica guitars, hand-built by Dave Walsh at Eternal Guitars, with hot rod hand-wound pickups, also hand-wound by Dave Walsh at the sister company, Hot Rod Pickups. Now, like I say, I'm no status quo expert, but I hope you can see the work that Dave has put into these guitars in terms of getting them right. All the specs and all the kind of stuff that you might want to know about these guitars themselves is down in the description box. And like I say before, if you really like these guitars and the way they sound, you can pick up the guitars themselves from the Eternal Guitars website, or you can grab the pickup set from the Hot Rod Pickups website, both of which are down below. So until next time, take it easy.